Hello and welcome to Martyn Lucas Investor. My name is Sensei and welcome to the morning forecast show. Live every single trading morning, even have a show on a Sunday afternoon. But today's show is focusing on the bull market. Is a short squeeze coming? Everyone's got a negative sentiment right now. Everyone's saying the market's going to go down. Everyone's saying September's going to be a bad month. And normally when the headlines are pretty negative, well, there could be a short squeeze waiting. So I'm going to explain all of that. I'm going to actually explain to a lot of you what a crypto bull market is like. For some of you who haven't experienced it, even those who have, a quick reminder on how these bull markets tend to go, and then giving you some targets and talking about XRP, Bitcoin, Ethereum, even Solana, and where they can go in the coming months. Because remember, when this happens, it happens quick, and if you're not prepared, then you might see all the gains in your portfolio, you might take a few pictures, you might get really happy, but essentially after a bull market ends, every single time you have 80-90% drops in a matter of months, and then you have to wait another 4 years, and the coin you're in might not be around in 4 years. So it's a very important show today. Let's get straight into it. Good morning, everyone. It's so great to see you all here. Remember, this is a live show for people watching later, so we are live, and if you're watching later, please do also continue to interact, comment, put a thumbs up on the show, subscribe if you haven't done so already. So as always, we go to our favorite news source, which is the newsletter, the show's newsletter, rebranded as Sensei's Insights, but it is the show's newsletter. This is where we get the majority of our news. This is where we spend hours researching in the morning, so we can put together a good show for you guys. The link, I'll give it to you. There is a free trial. Even there is a free version where you get all the headlines, but I do recommend you going and trying the free trial. So again, it's on a page. It has all the stories from before. You can go back and see previous deep dives. But today's stories at a glance, we've got digital gold launch. And what do I mean by that? Well, not really a gold coin, even though we do have packs and stuff like that. What I'm talking about is London's global gold market. Remember, London is sort of the capital. It is a capital of the world for these commodity markets, is actually going digital on the blockchain. So again, more evidence that this blockchain technology that some people think is a scam or crypto and this, that and the other is here to stay, because it makes their operations cheaper and faster. So that's what's happening in the digital gold launch. There's a full story on it. We might come onto it. Also, I'm sure many of you saw what happened yesterday with China and their military parade. There's a rising alliance. We saw obviously Xi Jinping, we saw Putin, we saw Kim Jong-un, and they showcase military unity, signaling a deeper global realignment and defense boom. What else do we have in the news for today? We've got Tesla robot pivot. Musk says humanoid robots will drive 80% of Tesla's value, shifting focus beyond EVs. This is something Cathie Wood was saying a year or so ago. Musk is now also saying that this is going to be a huge part of the company Tesla. They are looking to launch, I think, publicly, selling the robots in late 2026. There's a full story on that as well. We've got copper trade stress. US-China tariffs disrupt copper flows, squeezing smelters and splitting markets into regional pricing blocks. We've also got the story that's going around everywhere. Bitcoin September slump. Bitcoin breaks key levels as ETF outflows rise. History warns September tends to bleed red. That's the news story that's being reported globally, and it's right. In September, we've said it before, September's normally a down month, and I've said first half of September potentially we go down on Bitcoin. But now that everyone's reporting that story, and now that everyone thinks Bitcoin goes down, the market tends to move in an opposite direction. So that's why I'm increasingly more bullish on even the first half of September. As soon as tomorrow, next week, we could have a breakout towards the upside, and there will be a lot of shorts now in the market because of this sentiment. So that's the story that's going around everywhere. September's a terrible month for Bitcoin. and bull markets over this, that, and the other. But then our deep dive, which I'm going to come on to, is about the altcoin season incoming. Crypto cycles follow patterns. Bitcoin leads, then Ethereum, then alts explode. ETFs could spark the next wave. When are these ETFs coming out? Well, they're coming out next month. The wait is over. 1 month from now, or just over a month from now, because they're towards the middle and end of October, we will have, in my opinion, an XRP ETF, a Litecoin ETF, I think a Solana ETF, but we'll have ETFs other than Bitcoin and Ethereum, and especially what I'm most excited about is an XRP ETF, and I do expect that to be here by the end of the next month. So let's get on to that. Remember, you can go and look deeper into all those stories we said, so you can understand them better. If we have time, we might come on to it, but we normally don't. So you can go and always check it out. And remember now that all these stories are also, most of the days of the week are just for the premium members of the newsletter. And thank you for anyone who is a premium member of the newsletter. And thanks, a lot of you DM me on there. You can message me directly on there. There's threads on there where we can all discuss things together, and of course you get access to every single newsletter, the full access every day with the chart of the day and all that sort of stuff, and the 5 news top stories now. Yes, Martyn went live yesterday, reporting about the court ruling with Google. With Google, and he did say that the markets will be popping up, and we can see yesterday XRP ended up, that's what Martyn reported on, and also today we can see a breakout of this XRP trend, which is what I'm looking at. Remember yesterday when I was ending the stream, I said it's as simple as when this downwards trend breaks, and it looks like we are on a brink of a breakout. Look at that candle right there. It wants to break out from the downtrend, and if it does, it can be an explosive move up to $3 and then past $3 to all-time highs. So that's what that's as simple as I can make it. A trend line like that, as soon as you break it, the momentum shifts towards the upside. One horizontal support at $3, next horizontal support at $3.36, next horizontal support at about $3.50, $3.60, and then you're looking at all-time highs. So what am I talking about? I'm going to talk to you about the crypto cycles, then I'm going to go on to these individual tokens. So if you've ever wondered why crypto markets seem to move in explosive bursts rather than steady climbs, it's because the asset class runs in cycles. Violent, fast-moving, and often parabolic cycles. Everything runs in a cycle in the world, but crypto cycles are very different because of how intense they are. Anyway, so understanding those cycles is critical for any investor trying to survive and hopefully thrive in the chaos. It is chaos. It plays on emotions. If you're not prepared, you will lose. It's like going to war. I mean, it's going to be chaotic, but if you don't know what you're doing, if you're running all over the place, if you freeze, you won't come out alive. So this is what we're looking at with these crypto markets. They play on everyone's emotions, even top traders. I'm not going to class myself as a top trader, but even with me, you get emotional with how these markets go. Every single cycle, I have come out on top, but there's been parts where I've got emotional. Hopefully, I don't do that this time round. But and those emotions make you lose some of your profits. Last cycle, I was very, very successful, but I still held on for too long for certain tokens because I married them. I got too excited about them. I held XRP through all of it went up and then it went all the way down. In theory, I should not have married XRP. I should not have loved XRP that much, and I should have sold, bought back in the bear market. But because I just wanted, I thought it would do well long term, and I thought it would do well in that cycle, I just held on, and that made my analysis a bit foggy. But yeah, even for the people that have been through cycles, it's hard. So if you've never been through a cycle, you really need to listen up now, because you need to understand how these work. Mark D. Lane, we did a whole live stream yesterday on WLFI. You can go and check it out. So we're now in September. Things are going to get moving fast. Remember, we've been talking about October for a while now. We are 1 month away from October, and it all basically starts in September. So we are in September. Historically, it's one of Bitcoin's weakest months. I can pull up some charts. I can show you the heat map. It's it's the worst performing month for Bitcoin, essentially, and the charts are already down. They're reminding us why September is a down month. But beyond this period of seasonal weakness, a new wave of catalysts is approaching. It's different. We've got, and it's always dangerous to say it's this time's different, but there is something happening in October. We've got one of the biggest news stories, ETF approvals for major altcoins like XRP and Solana, and others can hit as soon as October. That sets the stage for what crypto veterans call altcoin season, a designed stretch where money rotates from Bitcoin into Ethereum, then into large caps, and then eventually into the smallest and riskiest tokens. So let's break down how the cycle works, why altcoin seasons are so parabolic, and what investors need to watch out for this time around. If you are watching live with me, or if you're watching later, please do make sure you hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't done so already. If you are enjoying the newsletter, do consider upgrading to become a premium member. If you haven't checked it out yet, here is the link. First link in the description as well. So the rhythm of crypto bull market. Every bull market in crypto tends to rhyme. It's not exactly the same, but they really do tend to rhyme, even if the details differ. The basic pattern usually looks like this. Bitcoin leads the charge. The bull market typically begins with Bitcoin breaking out of its long consolidation, institutional flows, and macro headlines, and now ETF products bring new money into Bitcoin first. Bitcoin is the king of the market, whether you like it, whether you hate it, whether you think it's an amazing technology, whether you think it's an outdated, a terrible technology, whether you think it's a fan club, or you think it's a way of life. Bitcoin leads the charge. Bitcoin, for the significant future, I believe, at some point, the technology might outdo this, but it might be forever. Bitcoin is the king of the market. You need to look at Bitcoin. How do you identify we're in a bull market? You look at Bitcoin. How do you identify we're in a bear market? You look at Bitcoin. You have to respect Bitcoin. So Bitcoin is the king of the market, and that's what brings the money in, and that's what takes the money away. So remember, what was it, 2023? January 2023? I think it was January 2023 when Bitcoin's ETF came out. That was sort of the start of the bull market. And altcoins weren't really doing that well at all until December of this year. So Bitcoin really did start that bull market. When was it? We covered it. I mean, I was calling in. I think I was in Switzerland or Paris. I don't remember, but I called in, and maybe I was under the Eiffel Tower, and I said, "This is the beginning of the bull market." Where was it? Trying to find it. No, that was 2020, January of. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, so we had our capitulation in the bear market where it went down to 14,000 and 13,000. Actually, we started the crypto challenge there. Martyn bought some Bitcoin around there. But I think it was January of 2023. Yeah, here we go. Yeah, look at this. This was the start of the bull market, where we went from about 16,000 all the way up to 25,000. I think somewhere between there and there that Bitcoin ETF came out. But that was the start of the bull market. Altcoins were pretty much performing not very well. But Bitcoin went from about 18,000 all the way up until around 73,000 before the altcoins actually started catching up and actually started outperforming Bitcoin. So that was Bitcoin starting the bull market, and that's what I mean by Bitcoin leads the charge. So Bitcoin leads the charge. The bull market typically begins with Bitcoin breaking out of its long consolidation, institutional flows, macro headlines. Yeah, so that's what happened there. Then Ethereum follows. When did Ethereum follow? Well, it started in November of 2024, December of 2024, and it really started in the last few months. That's when Ethereum went to new all-time highs. That's when we started saying it's Ethereum season. It's time for Ethereum to outperform. So now Ethereum has followed. So once Bitcoin dominance peaks, and we look like we have peaked on Bitcoin dominance, we did declare that fairly recently, where we said, if I go onto here, Bitcoin dominance chart, When we topped out at 66%, I said we might be able to go back in for a test of 65%, but essentially I don't expect it to go any higher than 65%. In fact, we actually made a much lower high than I was expecting, and this Bitcoin dominance chart definitely looks like it's peaked for now. You can see Bitcoin dominance really falling off a cliff now. So it looks like Bitcoin dominance has now peaked for this cycle. So that doesn't mean Bitcoin can't go higher. It just means Bitcoin won't essentially go back to 65% on Bitcoin dominance. Essentially, it won't outperform the market by 12%. If you're looking at the charts, it can, it might, but it doesn't look like it will. So Bitcoin dominance has peaked. The capital started rotating into Ethereum. That's happened. Bitcoin dominance peaked. Capital rotating into Ethereum. Ethereum often lags slightly, but then accelerates, especially when the narrative catalyzes, and whether that be DeFi staking or entire stock markets coming onto the Ethereum blockchain, whatever the catalyst might be or the narrative might be, Ethereum has essentially got that. Ethereum has made all-time highs, but hasn't gone parabolic yet. I do expect a little bounce from Bitcoin dominance now. Once this trend line breaks, I mean, however you want to look at this trend line, once we have a little bounce for Bitcoin dominance, meaning Bitcoin will outperform the market, maybe it's 3%, maybe it's 5%, maybe it's high as 10%. One more bounce from Bitcoin dominance, and then Ethereum will pump, and then we get the altcoin season. So I still think Ethereum has a lot more left for it to go parabolic. I do think Bitcoin might go to 150, might go to 200,000, but I think the dominance has peaked. I don't think Bitcoin is going to be the king anymore for this part of the cycle. So what happens after Ethereum? Well, we're waiting for Bitcoin to have a little bounce. Then we're waiting for Ethereum to go parabolic again, make new all-time highs, go to $7,500, $7,500. Then once Ethereum goes on its next big run to $7,500, that could potentially be this month. It can potentially be next month. Then I expect the large cap altcoins to take the stage. So that's when it will be like XRP, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche. So XRP is sort of in a different category because obviously it's pumped from 30 cents to $3, but that's because of the pure manipulation, the pure suppression of XRP's price, the court case. We know XRP is in a different category, but also it acts as a large cap as well. So once Ethereum takes center stage, then it'll be large caps with XRP, Solana, Cardano, Avalanche. These big tokens that have been around for a while, that have great technologies, I expect them to pump at the same time. And that could potentially be in October. So September could be an Ethereum, a little bounce from Bitcoin, Ethereum pump. And then going into October, and also towards the end of September, we can have these large caps starting to take center stage. So these are liquid enough for institutions, but speculative enough for retail to pile in. That's why they're a bit more volatile. That's why they might pump a bit more. So that's what you want to look at. They are liquid enough that institutions want to buy them and get involved and have them in treasuries or want to buy it up. But they're also speculative enough, a low market cap enough, exciting enough for retail to pile in and cause those short squeezes. So that's the perfect combination. That's why I like large caps, because you can hold them on forever. If you miss the top, they're probably going to come back because they're good technologies. But what we ideally want is everyone to buy in, and we want institutions and retail to buy in and have an effect. So retail can have an effect on the price, and institutions, it's attractive enough for them to buy in. So I do like these large caps. And you can pile in a few others. You can put HBAR in there. You can put Stellar, Loomis in there. There's a fair amount of large caps. I'd say anything above like the top 20 tokens. Top 30. Anyway, then number 4, this is when it gets really exciting, really parabolic. This is where millionaires and billionaires are created, is at the end. The long tail goes parabolic. So finally, capital rotates into smaller cap tokens, whether that's gaming tokens, whatever the sentiment is at the time, gaming tokens, meme tokens. Essentially, those will start NFT tokens, whatever the sentiment and the trend is at that time, they normally will go parabolic. And that's after the large caps go. So that will be the stage where you start seeing 10x's, 50x's in weeks. But also signals we're late into the cycle. We're getting frothy. There is euphoria. Be careful. So the rotation isn't perfectly linear. It's not as easy as Money sloshes back and forth, short squeezes erupt, also, and the narrative drive sudden pumps. But the flow is essentially Bitcoin, Ethereum, large caps, small caps, and it has repeated in every major cycle since 2013. But now let's look at the September weakness. I was in the camp that first half of September will be weak. Second half of September, we can potentially see XRP getting close to all-time highs. I'm still basically in that camp, but everyone's now talking about how bad September is as a month, and I don't like that. That normally says to me we might be in for a good ride in September, and people will be shorting the market now because of how bad they think September is, and that could lead to short squeezes. So statistically, September is Bitcoin's worst month. We can pull up the charts. I don't need to. September's Bitcoin's worst month. Since 2013, Bitcoin has closed 8 out of 12 Septembers with an average loss about 3 to 4%. This year is already following the script. ETFs are at all-time outflows. Technical. We're breaking down. We had a double top on Bitcoin's price, and seasonal weaknesses are weighing on the market. But the bigger story may come in October. Even if you think September is going to be a bad month, well, if you believe October is going to be a good month, what are you going to do? Are you going to sell in September and try and buy back a bit lower so you can take advantage of October? It just seems a bit too risky for me when we're so close to the end of the cycle. And remember, there is complete and utter risk. The bull market could already be over. There could be a recession on the way. There's many risks. There's no guarantee that we're going to have an amazing October and an amazing end of the year and an altcoin season. So I want to make that clear. And I also want to make clear nothing I'm saying is financial advice. This is my thoughts and opinions only. So please do not buy or sell based on anything I say ever or in this video. So bigger story might come in October. Multiple altcoin ETF decisions. A lot for XRP, including the long-awaited XRP spot ETF, are lined up for Q4. If these are approved, these products could act as the same spark that Bitcoin ETFs were in early 2024. Okay, well, it must have been the beginning of 2024 when the ETF was. Anyway, unlocking institutional flows and generating retail FOMO. Markets are forward-looking. That means we can see a buy the rumor rallies into October, with altcoins front-running ETF launches and new inflows. If history rhymes, October, November could line up perfectly with an altcoin season. That's what my base case is. Not best case, that's what I expect to happen. I've already given a 60% probability to that happening. That's why I'm more confident this will happen. The other probabilities are either inflation goes higher and that puts an end to the bull market, or the labour market collapses and we have a hard landing. But yeah, I'm still in the camp. I'm still fully in. I still expect the markets to go up. I still know this is a very risky game. If I have to go through another bear market without taking profits, then so be it. It wouldn't be ideal, but it will. I'll have to deal with it, and it's not going to have an effect on my life. So this buy the rumor is what we've been talking about. Halfway through September is when I'm expecting that to really start picking up. But it could be even earlier now that everyone is a bit bearish on September as a month. So why altcoin seasons feel so parabolic? Why is it so different to any other bull market that you see in other markets, such as the stock market? The parabolic nature of altcoin seasons comes down to 3 factors. Liquidity rotation. Bitcoin is relatively deep and institutional. Once it tops out, or once Bitcoin dominance tops out, the liquidity floods into smaller, thinner markets where even modest inflows move prices violently. This is when people rotate their capital. They hear about Bitcoin, they made a lot of money on Bitcoin, and they go, okay, I've made enough money on Bitcoin. What else is there in the crypto market? Then that small amount of money, or relatively small amount of money compared to what they put in Bitcoin, goes into a smaller market cap token. Because the market cap of the other token is smaller, because the market is thinner, because the liquidity is less, it really pushes the price up on the altcoins. And that's why you have violent moves. Also, another reason is the retail herd behavior. once once headlines start shifting from Bitcoin breaks records to XRP doubles in 2 weeks, or XRP is in $10 in 7 days, or Solana's done a 2x in a week, or today crypto.com's up 100%, or there's a new ETF coming out. When there's these amazing headlines that are very sexy, new investors rush in, they're chasing the gains, and they start chasing the next big thing, and it just causes the price to go up even higher, and then it will attract even more people. Then there will be short squeezes, then it will attract even more people, and then at some point it will collapse down. But during that whole momentum, that's when you get these parabolic moves. Also, people play with leverage, and people might go short, and that could cause short squeezes, especially in the month of September, where everyone is imagining September would be a really bad month, basing it on previous data. It might be a really good month because all of these people have gone short and a few big buys come in, and then you actually end up short squeezing. So perpetual futures and margin trading add rocket fuel. When shorts pile into overheated names, a squeeze can drive coins up 50% in hours. Not Bitcoin. I don't think Bitcoin can do 50% in hours, but if the whole center, if there's plenty of shorts on XRP at all-time highs, and no one thinks it can go higher, and then you break all-time highs, you can see a 50% move on XRP in hours. So the result is a vertical price action which feels irrational, but is actually logical outcome of capital rotation to markets this small compared to, in a market this small compared to traditional finance. The crypto market is very small. The total market cap of crypto is about 4 trillion, and and a significant proportion of that is in Bitcoin. If you look at total 3, which is the total cryptocurrency market cap, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, the crypto market cap, the total amount of money in it is $1 trillion. That's a very, very small amount of money in the grand scheme of financial markets.
Jam_RTR has become a member.
Thank you very much, Jam_RTR, for becoming a member. If you do want to become a member as well, I will give you the link if I find it. There is a join button right below. Here it is. Here's the link for becoming a member. So yeah, the market is tiny. A small amount of money can really make a difference in this market. And remember, most of it's in Bitcoin, and once that starts moving into altcoins or money starts coming into the market, $1 trillion for the whole of the crypto market, excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, is tiny. Remember, that includes XRP, Dogecoin, some of the biggest names, Solana. This 1 trillion includes that. And if you think about it, there's multiple companies in the world now that have an over $1 trillion market cap, and we're looking at here the total market cap, everything excluding Bitcoin and Ethereum, is 1 trillion. So you can see how a small amount of money, relatively small amount of money, can really move these markets, and that's why it gets so parabolic. At some point that will change. 10 years down the line, it will take a lot more money to move the markets. This might be the last true bull market out there. And then here's the most important part, the end, the parabolic top. This is where everyone gets caught out. Everyone normally stays in while the market's going up. Everyone gets really excited. They might even buy more, but most people fail at the top. So it is normally a very sudden end. It creeps up on you. You think it's another dip. You might be buying the dip, and it might be the end. We might already be at the top, but we haven't had the parabolic top. So that's why I don't think it is. We have had pretty parabolic runs on XRP and Bitcoin, but not the typical parabolic run. That's why I'm not 100% confident that this is the top, and that's why I'm very confident that there will be more upside. But when the parabolic top comes, it can be a sudden end to the bull market, and you can be in the red for years and years and years. So if there's one lesson every retail investor needs to learn, it's this: crypto bull markets end faster than you think. It's not another buy the dip opportunity. Normally it's just, this is the end. This is a 90% drop, this is a 98% drop, this is an 80% drop, and you won't see prices like this for another 4 years. So the final stage of the bull market usually features euphoric blow-off tops where small cap coins rally 10x in weeks. Gains look easy. TikTok influencers appear everywhere. It feels like the party that will never stop. But that parabolic top is almost always followed with an equally violent collapse. In 2017 and 2021, the altcoin indices lost 70 to 90% within months of peaking. Months after the peak, they dropped 90%. Some dropped 98%, some dropped 80%. They violently lost all their gains. That's why discipline and exit strategies matter. No one times the exact top, but know that parabolic moves rarely last, gives you an edge. When everything feels too good to be true, it usually is. When you think you're the cleverest person in the world, and when you start taking pictures of your portfolio and start telling everyone about how amazing crypto is and how it's made you quit your job, it's probably time to sell. The bull market isn't guaranteed, and the final disclaimer is, and it's not really a disclaimer, it's true. The bull market, nothing's guaranteed in life, and this isn't even guaranteed. So if it's important to remember, bull markets don't move in a straight line, and they don't last forever. A spike in inflation could push central banks to tighten again, draining liquidity from all risk assets. A labour market slowdown could trigger recession fears, pulling investors back into safer havens. Even geopolitical shocks, regulatory crackdowns, or sudden ETF rejections. Imagine if the XRP ETF gets rejected. I really don't think it will, but it can derail sentiment overnight. Crypto thrives on liquidity, momentum, and belief. If any of those break down, the parabolic rallies can stall or reverse far faster than most expect. That's why positioning with discipline and risk management matters just as much as chasing the upside. And 3 quick profit taking strategies that, again, these are not advice, these are just different things to explore. One is the laddering out strategy. So you might say, okay, I need to make sure I get out. How do I get out before the big collapse? Well, selling is much harder than buying. And these are a few of the strategies that I've used before. A few that are pretty popular. One is laddering out, and I've already expressed to you that's how I'm getting out my XRP position. So I'm laddering exits, scaling out, selling in chunks at price rises, maybe 20% at a 2x, another 20% at a 3x, and so on. So it locks in profits while leaving some exposure in case the rally keeps running. My strategy is I've got certain levels on a chart, and I've shared them all with you, and I'll continue to share them with you every day. I want everyone in this community to win, and I'll keep sharing them with you. Not to follow, but just so you know what my strategy is. And it's going to be at certain levels where my biggest position is XRP, so that's the one I need to be the most focused on. At certain levels, at certain price levels, whether it's Fibonacci levels or horizontal support, most of them are Fibonacci levels. I have no idea where the top is going to be, but I want to secure the profits on the way up. So there's certain levels in my XRP chart that at those levels, I'll be selling specific amounts of my XRP. Whether it's 20%, 10%, I'm just going to be laddering out. Another strategy is target-based selling. I might be using this strategy for other tokens that I hold, whether it's Flare token or my lower market cap ones, because I want them to run, and if it doesn't hit the level, it doesn't hit the level. It's not my biggest position, and I don't need to take profits from it this cycle. It's target-based selling. So before entering, it's best to do it before entering, but even if you've entered already, you can think of the price soon, rather than when you're setting these prices. You don't want to be emotional. You don't want to already be pumping. You want to be level-headed when you set these prices. So either before entering or when you're level-headed, set a price target. Whether it's I'm going to XRP at $8 or Ethereum at $10,000. When that target hits, sell your full position or a large portion. Simply discipline and avoid emotional decision making. Write it down on a piece of paper. Stick it on your wall. XRP at $8. I'll sell 90%. 10% is my moon bag. Ethereum at 10,000, I'll sell 100%. I don't care. I've made enough money. Flare, when it hits 20 cents, if it hits 20 cents, never when, it's normally if. If it hits 20 cents, I'll sell 90%, leave 10% for a moon bag. That's another strategy. You just have a price set in stone. You want to make these prices up when you're not euphoric or when you're not emotional, and just sell at those specific levels. Market is wasting time, and your 9 to 5 is also wasting time. Nights, I don't know what you mean. I'll come on to everyone's questions in a second. And another potential strategy is portfolio percentage rule. Decide you will never let one coin exceed a set percentage of your portfolio, say 25%. If an altcoin pumps and breaks that rules, you trim back your allocation. This manages your risk while letting your winners run. I don't typically like that strategy because it doesn't let your winners run. You keep trimming it as it's running, and normally if you don't let your winners run, those are the ones that makes you money, and you normally take profits too early on those ones. And if you keep trimming it, you're stopping your gains. But it is a strategy that works for most people. You have a certain portfolio, and it normally works better if you've got a portfolio of stocks and stuff like that, and you look at your crypto side of your portfolio and you say, I want my crypto to be 5% of my portfolio. If it ever gets more than 10%, I'll just trim. You're gonna potentially stop the gains, but it's another way of taking profits and managing your risk that way. None of these methods are perfect, and that's one thing I want to make clear, but they're all better than holding blindly until the music stops. The key is choosing a strategy you can stick to in real time. So what we're expecting this time, potentially short-term weakness in September. Q4 catalyst, altcoin ETFs could ignite the rotation. Parabolic risk to reward. If altcoin season hits, it could mean explosive moves, but also rapid reversals. Investors should prepare mentally for the extreme volatility. That means considering both the upside and downside scenarios. Crypto moves in cycles, slow to start, then violently fast, and finally a parabolic before the music stops. September may bring chop and fear, but ETF-driven flows could flip the script as early as October. If we do get an altcoin season, expect it to unfold in the usual order. Bitcoin peaks, Ethereum surges, large cap runs, and small caps go wild. The key is preparation. Decide how you will react if XRP jumps 3x, or if your favorite micro cap rockets 20x. Will you take profits? Will you rotate? Or will you hold and hope? The worst strategy is to be unprepared, because in crypto, when altcoin season arrives, it doesn't knock politely. It kicks the door down. And that's sort of all I wanted, my full thoughts on this cycle, and I hope that's helped a lot of people. We will come on to individual tokens as well in a second, but I want to go to your comments and see how everyone reacted while I was presenting my thoughts there. I know there was a few other conversations going on, but I want to welcome everyone in. I am just going to refer to members' comments right now, until I catch up with the comment section. XRP to the moon. Robbie, thank you for being the first one here. You were literally here as soon as I set up the stream, straight away. Good morning, fellow cryptocrats. Hello, Songs for Space. I'm tired of such headlines. Smuddy, I'm sorry to hear that. Don't know what you mean. Good morning, crypto collectors. Good morning, everyone. These are my price predictions too, especially after Google's win, as reported in my live stream last night. Thank you, Martyn. Referring to, I think, my price predictions on the thumbnail out there. Those are my high-end price predictions. I'll certainly be taking profits below, but I'm glad me and Martyn are also in agreement. I would love a $20 XRP, so would I. I'm not banking on it. I'm probably not even going to have that much XRP left if it hits $20. Most of my profits will be taken by the time we hit $8 to $10, leaving some for higher levels. I will come on to those individual charts in a second. We all would. Yes, we would all love that. Live, that's me. Hello, Sensei. Hello, Ole. You can still donate to Sensei's charity. It's not my charity, David Hensley. It's Zach's charity. You could, David, instead of giving the links to that, you can also just give a link to the YouTube stream. The fundraiser stream I think it's just open indefinitely. I think you can just give a link to, if you want to give a link, it's better to just give the link to the YouTube show. Yeah, it's still open, I think. Anyway, let me continue. Afternoon, fam. Good morning from New York City. Hello, Alicia. Robbie C, let's go. Everyone's saying good morning. Let me skip so I can get through. XRP is not dead. No, I don't think so. When will we get jobs data? Let me look in the newsletter. Remember, the newsletter has the calendar below. No jobs data today apart from the JOLTS job openings. Tomorrow. It's tomorrow, Thursday. Yeah, we get initial jobless claims tomorrow. What else do we get tomorrow? Jobs cuts, non-farm productivity. We've actually got a Fed speech later on in the day. But yeah, we get the non-farm and the initial jobless claims at the normal time at the end of this show, normally in about 15 minutes time tomorrow. Anything on Friday? We get non-farm payrolls on Friday. Average hourly earnings, unemployment rate, labour force participation rate also on Friday. So that helps paint a picture on the labour market. But yeah, songs for space. If you just scroll down on the newsletter, you'll be able to see all those dates. Good morning, Sensei. Watching you from Kennedy Space Center while waiting for this morning's SpaceX launch. Mark Slaxby, I really hope they launch this time. I know you had I remember you telling us on X you had a bit of a misfortune last time you drove hours and it was cancelled. I hope you have a great launch over there. Please XRP to $15. I have no control over it. Thanks for sharing our link, says David. Says Zach. Last half of August was September. Don't know what you mean by that, D. Herman. Last half of August was September. It seems as soon as people think they've got them charts figured out, the markets flip and most get wrecked. Yes. I reported this last night on my stream, just saying that we would pop today. Yes, I think we could have a breakout today, potentially. XRP is an XRP ETF. They already have an ETF. Nope. We're talking spot ETFs. But we don't have an XRP ETF. Those are leveraged ETFs. They don't hold XRP. It doesn't really have an effect on the price at all. What we want is XRP spot ETFs. XRP is a 2x leveraged XRP ETF. Terrible to hold long term because of the fees. They don't hold any XRP underlying. And XRPT ETF is another 2x volatility. They don't hold any XRP. They're not the proper ETFs we're waiting for. So if you hold XRP, do you let me just keep an eye on this as well. So if you hold XRP, do you sell and buy the XRP ETF or do you hold your XRP? Oof, that's a question. We'll have to do a whole piece on that. But essentially, you can do what you like, whatever suits you more. If you want to have control over your XRP and never be locked out by an exchange or all those fears that some people have, mostly unwarranted fears, but there is certain scenarios where people get locked out their accounts and stuff like that. Same with crypto, by the way. I don't know. There's pros and cons to both. If you're just a normal retail investor, the XRP ETF is probably much easier and much safer. If you know what you're doing and you want to trade on the weekends, and if you're a crypto bro, then you might prefer holding your own XRP. But essentially, you just have to pay a bit more for the security and the benefits of having the XRP ETF. Depending on where you are in the world, if we have an XRP ETF here in the UK, it would be absolutely incredible because I wouldn't have to pay capital gains tax on my XRP. Well, I would when I sell, but when I buy the XRP ETF, I can put it in an ISA, and that's our tax-free account here in the UK, and there'll be no gain. So I would much prefer to hold an XRP ETF. And I know people in Canada are doing that. I know people are putting them in their Roth IRAs in the US as well. So that's a major benefit. Again, consult a tax advisor on that. Appointed Flower says breakout. Let's have a look. Are we breaking out? Let's go to XRP. Oh my God, yeah, we are. Wait, which one am I looking at? Yeah, we are. We are breaking out. We are finally breaking out, which is good. Yeah, XRP is now up on the day. Yeah, it's looking good. Let me just go through these comments. Breakout, let's go. Oh, Bruce is now a member. Oh, okay, Bruce. Now I see your name. Bruce, Graham. Good morning from Bruce and Angie. Good morning, Bruce. Good morning, says Mark Lane. How's everyone doing today? I answered a question earlier, Mark. Just going through members' questions. Good afternoon to you both from Uganda. Here's development alert. We're so excited to be getting updates from Zach in Uganda as well. money has to clear from YouTube to the charity first, but hopefully in the next couple of months we get a lot of updates from Zach. So we look forward to that. The longer the base, the higher into space. Thank you. Good day to the children in Uganda, says Stage Your Life. Bitcoin is only king because of the hype. If people stop talking about it, it will drop big time. Same with most tokens, Molly, though. Most of the crypto market isn't because everyone loves the technology and everyone thinks it's going to change. Well, most of the bull markets and the bear markets are fueled by emotion and people that have no idea what they're buying. So same with any token, really. My comp bag never goes up, just stays at negative 33%. I'm sorry about that, Songs for Space. I think we all have tokens like that. I think Bitcoin will always be top dog. Only 21 million available unless there is. The higher price will be. Yeah, I think Bitcoin will, at least for the next 10, 15 years, I think will play, or at least the 10 years. I don't know what's going to happen in 10 years' time, but I think next cycle, this cycle, it's still going to be top position. But if you look at comp, it's having higher lows and trickling up. Yeah, I've heard good things about it. I think I held comp last cycle. Had a brutal bear market, but it's been holding up well. Let me just have a quick look at it. Once we go through all the comments, we will have a quick look at the charts as well. Yeah, comp slowly but surely is accumulating. Yeah, I think comp is accumulating quite nicely. It hasn't made new lower lows. It can have a move up to $175 a cycle, or potentially even higher. New studies have shown that hitting Sensei's like button will help reduce stress and help get rid of dark circles under the eyes. Please hit the like button. Thank you, David Hensley. Maybe I should hit my own like button. I've got eczema around my eyes, so that's why I normally have some dark around the eyes, and everyone always says, you look so tired. Martyn's keeping Sensei up all night and stuff like that. Some people say, but it's just because I've got eczema around my eyes. But hopefully, let me hit the like button myself. Have I even hit the like button? Imagine if I haven't. No, I have. See, I've hit the like button. So there you go. Top tip from David Hensley. Hit the like button and you look better. My theory, I need to just go to members' comments so I can catch up. Me too. I'm getting ready to leave for work shortly. I hope you have a great day, David. Why does it always seem like a lot of people think something's going to drop big before it takes off? Is it because they're hoping to get the asset cheaper? Most likely, if it drops, they didn't buy it anyway. I'm not sure, JJ. She will crank here eventually. Great live, Sensei. Thank you, Angie. XLM chart not looking good. Thank you, Songs for Space. Market still wasting time to see 17th of September should be different. Don't know what you mean. Lot of crypto looking good on charts, not XLM. Looks like we are at a turning point, either up or wide as falling continues. XLM will demonstrate on chart. Thanks for that. Second half September, XRP ledger will explode. Thank you for that. Silver, says Jerry. We're loving silver. It's in the newsletter. The chart of the day is on silver today, Jerry. Go check it out. Let me give you the link for the newsletter. I'll have another look at it as well. Is it really pumping right now, or is it how it was when I looked this morning? It's about where it was. Day 3 of fast, no food at all. I feel fine today, lost £5, 2 days to go. Wow, that's incredible. I have no idea how Martyn's doing it. We support you all the way, Martyn. Obviously not support you by taking as any advice, but we support your journey. Keep us updated. Martyn will be going live straight after this in about 15 minutes time, so I'm sure we'll hear all about it soon. Time to move to the Cayman Islands, says Songs for Space. So much hanging on the Clarity Act. Yes, we're waiting on that. Are you taking some electrolytes? Yes, Martyn's taking electrolytes. Yes, baby, silver. Yes, silver's doing great. This could be the move that takes up to about $75, $100 in the next year or so. Good job. Most people miss this and feel really bad. There's basically no volume on VU on QQQ. Thank you for that. Sensei, my 40k of REN is now up 39% over 7 days, but my NVDL2X is blur. Yeah, we did warn you about the Nvidia long you were taking before. It was when you do stuff like that, but just before an earnings, it's pretty much gambling because no one knows what the earnings is and it will pump or dump. But yeah, congratulations on your IREN. I think we did a chart analysis on that IREN. Yeah, congratulations. Perfect, look at that. Exactly as the charts said. Headlines doesn't matter, charts and data matter. Yes, I like McDonald's. News drives prices, charts are a reflection of the news, nothing else matters. People are having debates in the chat. Random words. Emotions indeed wreck traders. Yes, emotions do wreck traders. Iron stomach is needed. Things can get rocky really quickly. Yes. I have two emotions: greed and disgust. Coca-Cola just looking like a good buy, says Wadey. Thanks for that, Wadey. Great to have you in the show. When market high, I feel disgust. Short-term trading is not investing. These are completely different activities. I do both. With the clarity Act, there should be no excuse for projects. They'll either make it now or they never will. Yes, exactly, Jerry. This is where we get rid of the rubbish. Case in point, look at comp. Sometimes it's just a loss forever, a gap in your portfolio that just sits there. Zits that left a scar. $10 Bitcoin in 2012, now worth like 35 million. Is that right? $10 in 2012, 35 million. I don't think that's right.
Ed84Q2 has become a member. Wow, can't believe it's been 2 years. What a ride.
Yeah, it has waited. It feels much shorter. Thank you so much for being a member for 2 years now. I'm trying to find a chart that takes Bitcoin to 2012. $10 of Bitcoin in 2012 is worth 35 million. Is that right? What was Bitcoin at 2012? Bitcoin was at... Maybe it is right. Well, no, actually it's not. Bitcoin in 2012 was at 2012 about $5. So you would have 2 Bitcoin, you would have 200,000. So $10 in Bitcoin in 2012 would not be 35 million. It would be $222,000. You could buy 2 Bitcoin in 2012 for $10. Way different to 35 million songs for space. It would be 212. However, go back another couple years and it might be more correct. Need to cut the lead. Wait, sometimes got to love it while working a 9 to 5. When do you think the hold and silver run will come to an end? I think it will have a pump some point next year, potentially. I haven't done enough analysis, but I'd say towards the end of the year, it could have a significant correction. But I think next year will be pretty bullish for gold and silver as well. If you have stocks that's down and not moving in a bull market, you're insane to wait for it to come into profit. Holding is how you underperform the markets. Yes. Agree, sometimes things never come back and you have to reposition. Yes. Just depends on the stock. Don't buy garbage. Fixes that. Yes, it does. Silver is about to pump even more. I agree. I had Walgreens for 6 months down 20%. Next day after I sold it, I would have been up 25%. Oh, wow. Songs for space. I'm so sorry about that. I don't know how these things happen. It happens to everyone, doesn't it? Things weren't garbage once they were the best flavor. Polygon, for example, was a darling. Now now not so. It's just because it's a much smaller market cap token and it's not time for them to pump yet. Sensei, my guy, hope you and the family are doing well. Newsletter has been great and helpful a lot in a period where I've rarely been able to watch the channel. Thank you. Yes, Matthias, we've been missing you, but you can see you're still the #1 super chatter on the channel, with $150 since we started this. So thank you so much, and I'm glad you're enjoying the newsletters. Yeah, it's great. Even if you can't watch the show, you can even listen to it there or just go and see the headlines. So I'm very happy you're enjoying it. Glad to have you in the show. Good afternoon, everyone. Yes, I was first. If not, yes, I was first. If you're not fast, you're last. Yes, probably see you're very fast. I almost forgot Ondo will be tokenizing real world assets today, supposedly. And thanks for your update, Sensei. Thank you, Power. Good morning, everyone. Martyn will be on next. Any thoughts on Gemini IPO? We will be doing a newsletter deep dive tomorrow. We'll do that for the show tomorrow. Just waiting for some more data. I don't actually know when it is, but I know it's already on Robinhood, isn't it? Someone tell me the date. When is Gemini IPOing? I'm going to be putting it in the newsletter tomorrow. But I want to do more research. Oi, Sensei time. MSK is in the chat. Hello, MSK. What about holding XRP? Just holding through the next 4 years. What's your opinion? We can do that. Hold it long term. You'll probably go with a lot of ups and downs, but you might actually come out on top because you don't have to think about buying back in. So it depends what you want to do. Do you care about losing 80% of your value over a year or two if it goes into a bear market, or do you care more about potentially hitting $50 or $100? You might just want to put in a ledger and forget about it and look back in 5-10 years. Or you might more actively trade it, sell it, maybe at a peak, enjoy some of the profits, buy back in a bear market if that does occur. I can't tell you what's the right way of doing things. That's up to you. Martyn is currently in a sugar deprivation coma. He will return shortly, says D. Herman. Hello there, good morning. Do you have any thoughts on C3 AI earnings today? I'm wondering if I should sell today. I have no thoughts, James. Sorry about that. Gotcha, Sensei, on the link. Thank you, David Hensley. I will laugh my butt off if Trump admin has to pay tariffs back. Is that what the ruling would be? He would have to pay the tariffs back? Oh my God, that would be horrific. At least $5 would be great. I think we'll get $5. I'll be selling a fair amount, between $4 and $6. By the time we hit $8, I'll probably have taken most of my profits, maybe only holding another 30%. Or 30% of my original. No, don't sell that. Oh, okay. I thought you were saying I'm going to follow your strategy exactly. No, you're just going to sell gradually, keep some for possible moon. Good luck to you. Never forget GameStop and Robinhood. Hit that like button. Yes, if you are live with us, please make sure you are hitting that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Remember, it's going to get very volatile over the next few months, in my opinion, and I think it's going to be make or break. So we're going to be live every day navigating the markets together. So please do make sure you hit the subscribe and go and check right now. Do you have your notification bell turned on? It's right next to the subscribe button. Zero sympathy for anyone crashing out on meme stocks. I drink the tears of GameStop cultists. Thank you, Stephen, for the update. In this community, we are all about politely sharing our opinions. If you don't like someone's opinion, you can express how you feel about that, but just be nice about it. Yes. Hope to get my second Bitcoin this month, Mark Saxby. I hope you do as well. That will be a moment we have to celebrate live on the show, Mark Saxby. You have to call in. You have to call in when you do it. Laughing at harm the tariff cancellation would cause is not nice. Laughing at yeah, no, we're not. I think I chuckled a little bit, not because it's funny to see what the harm it will cause, but just because it would just be an absolute nightmare. Sometimes you just laugh about things that you shouldn't laugh about. I know, man, but we all have our opinions. It is what it is. Yes, everyone's entitled to their opinions, of course. Thoughts on Circle's IPO? Circle's IPO was a good few months ago now. Circle's IPO, I think it went pretty well. It was supposed to be at $35 or $30. It opened at basically $60, went as high as $300. When I was at $300, I was like, if you're holding this, you're crazy. Not in a bad way, not saying that you should sell, but I was just like, it was supposed to open at $30. It's done a 10x in a week or in a month. You have the opportunity to sell. Why aren't you? And now it's at $120. It's obviously come down. I think it'll do well long term. It's still not as attractive price-wise for me. But it's getting much more attractive. Are we getting data today? No, we're not. Everything good, bro. Just listen and learn. Continue to ask questions. Glad you're here. Yes, of course. Smashing the like button so hard. The dislike button signs up for witness protection. Benjamin, I like that one. Can't believe it's been 2 years. What a ride. Yes, it's been amazing. It's been, feels like less than 2 years actually, Wadey, but it's gone fast. 3 IPOs incoming, including Gemini. Yes. Has anyone told me the dates for Gemini? I have Dark Circles as well, says David Hensley. 2012, it was like $13 for a Bitcoin. Yeah. So, it's fluctuated between $5 and $13. So, yeah, $10 worth of Bitcoin would not get you 30 million. You'll be lucky to get 100,000, which is an amazing investment. $10 to 100,000 in 10 years. And imagine that. 2010 says Songs for Space. Even then, what did Bitcoin launch at? Even if it was at 10 cents, you could buy 100 Bitcoin. Yeah, I still don't know. Songs for Space. It's a meme going round. Oh, right, okay. When will cryptocurrencies become... Sorry, it's a meme and I'm trying to make sure we get the numbers right. That's what you get when you talk to a chartist. When will cryptocurrencies become publicly used, tender amongst masses? It'll mostly happen behind the scenes, but you won't know you're using a stable coin, for example, because it will just be happening behind the scenes. It's already happening. You're using stable coins if you're investing on Robinhood, or if you're doing many transactions behind the scenes are using stable coins. Wasn't it back in 2010 when the guy bought 2 pizzas for Domino's for 10,000 Bitcoin? Yeah, somewhere around then. What a terrible story. 2010 is it's still only 18 to 19 million. Yeah, still not. The numbers are still not adding up. Newsletter is fantastic, Sensei. Thank you, Stephen Bill. Really do appreciate it. Use a calculator. Yeah, it's the numbers aren't right. What about Klarna's IPO? Didn't that IPO a while ago as well, Klarna? Or maybe it hasn't. Everybody keeps saying Bitcoin will retest 100 to 105. What do you guys reckon? When everyone says something, it might not happen. I am in the camp that it probably will, but slightly less so because everyone's saying that now. But yeah, I do think it will come back to 100,000. I think we could get a correction that takes us back to 70,000. But the markets are in fine shape. There's nothing terrible going on right now. So it should continue with the bull markets. Doesn't matter. Something you got for free is worth millions today. Yeah. Yeah. I need to get through these comments. Have I not got through them yet? Where was I? Newsletters, fantastic. Thank you. It matters when you try a smart sound and you're wrong. $5 equals 100k. Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. I'm a crypto old timer. Bought Dogecoin when a fraction of a cent, set me up for life. I now see even more potential in XRP. Wow, look at that. Yeah, Dogecoin made, I think, many millionaires as well, because that was the first coin that some people got into crypto because of Dogecoin, some people got in because of Bitcoin. But Dogecoin was a meme for a while, and that got a lot of people into crypto. Back in like 2014, 2015, 16. Oh, Valley, nobody is trying to sound smart. It's a meme going up. Yeah. What are your thoughts on just holding XRP through the next 4 years? I've literally just answered that question. XRP pushing high. Yeah, regardless of what exact numbers were, let's just say it's massive gains. Yes. I don't want to talk about that anymore. Good morning, Sensei. What are your thoughts on Bullish? Is it going back to opening day price, or is it heading back up past $89? CLAR comes out on the 9th or the 10th. When's that? That's next week. Fig comes out on 9/11, and Gemini. Yeah, okay. We've got a lot of IPOs coming up. We've got a lot of work we need to do before they come up. I'll do analysis on all of them. Thanks for that. At least we've got another week. So it seems like everything's next week. And what's my thoughts on Bullish? My thoughts on Bullish is I'm not really too interested until it comes back to those opening prices. I think it was a good IPO. I think it's still, you're up 2-3x on IPO prices. Let me see, have a look. I think below $50 it becomes a bit more attractive as a buy. But even at these levels, it's certainly overpriced, in my opinion. But will it grow into its valuation and go higher? Probably. We'll need to see some more earnings from them. But yeah, it was certainly worth getting in at the IPO. Is it worth getting in now? Well, that depends on your thoughts on the company. Oh my god, there's more comments. Lowest Bitcoin price in 2010 was 0 cents. I don't think the last few days going through the comments has literally taken half an hour. Lowest Bitcoin price, I'm gonna have to go into members only mode. Lowest Bitcoin price in 2010 was 0 cents. No, you couldn't buy Bitcoin for 0 cents. That's impossible. Let's post comments quicker than Sensei can go through them, and then he'll never be able to stop. Yes, Craig, that would be very funny, wouldn't it? So now I'm right. Right, okay. Did you sleep yet since your last stream? See, here are the comments. Thank you, Ohan, for making fun of my eczema. I hope you feel good. I'm joking. Yes, of course, I slept since my last stream. It's been over 24 hours. What's your bullish scenario and bearish scenario for Sol this cycle? If you want to become a member or do a super chat, I can answer that question. 90 days till my birthday. I think 40s was old. Now turning 44. Well, we all look forward to that. Okay, so Martyn is going to be going live any minute now. You've got many more members now, Sensei. Yes, a lot of them were given away, so they will drop off. So remember, if you do have someone paid for your membership and you want a membership, do make sure you go and renew it, because it will fall off and you'll lose all your perks. But yes, if some of those members do drop off, which I don't think they should, because there's a lot of perks being a member, but if they do, there'll be less comments to go through. Okay, so there we go. Let me go into some of these charts. Ondo is the top performer in the watch list today. Nothing's doing anything crazy, but we're waiting for essentially a lot of these cryptocurrencies like Ethereum just have this downtrend here. They are on the brink of breaking out from the downtrend to a very short-term downtrend all the way back from August 24th. It's a fairly short-term downtrend, but what you're looking at, this is on the 4-hour time frame, it's something like that. Once that downtrend breaks, you can get the momentum flipping back towards the upside. And that's what a lot of coins are showing right now. It's just some of them are longer, like Flare. You can see Flare's downtrend was it's like this. Once that breaks, we'll have a breakout towards the upside, and that's when you can start getting some short squeezes. Same with Dogecoin. You're just in this downwards trend. A lot of them. You just keep an eye on that trend line. When it breaks, you'll be going towards the upside, or there'll be a breakout towards the upside, and shorts could be squeezed. A lot of tokens are setting up this downtrend right now. You can even see it on Bitcoin. But where's XRP? XRP's just sold off a bit, but yeah, on XRP it's very clear as well. It's just downtrend. Once that breaks, you can start targeting $3 and then all-time highs. So that's all we're looking at is this downtrend on XRP, which could be breaking, and that's why I'm saying these short squeezes can start coming out now, because once that downtrend breaks, momentum shifts in. People that were shorting and expecting a really bearish September will get short squeezed, they'll get liquidated. That will cause them to buy back, and we'll get a short squeeze. Is it lagging or is it just me? Benjamin, I think it's just you. Please do refresh the stream. Sol taking a really needed drop, need it back to 194. It's my birthday this Sunday, Mark Delane. Martyn celebrates birthdays on the music show, so I don't know if he'll celebrate this Friday or next Friday. Let him know in the next show, which will be going live very shortly, and he will tell you when we'll celebrate. Is it just lagging or me? I think it's just you. What do you do when the crypto season is over? Are you holding cash or do you feel the bear market? What do you do in a bear market? You go on holiday, I don't know. Firstly, it's always good to enjoy some of the money, I think. Make some experiences with your family. Do the repairs that need to be done. And then also you can invest it in the broader stock market or start DCAing back in, or essentially I normally just wait for big capitulation events, because normally after the bull market's over, within that year, you normally see a big dip, whether it's 80%, 70%, 60%, and it does allow you to get reinvested in for the next 4 years. So potentially something like that, but you normally want to go back into Bitcoin because Bitcoin will perform better during that bear market and will bottom out and give you returns. But we're not at that stage yet. There's plenty of things you can do. Let's just get through the first stage of going through a bull market and actually making money. It indeed was just me. Yes, Benjamin. Whole soul to the moon. I don't. It's probably just another meme coin. That'll probably go to zero. Great work. Hi from Australia. Hello, Shannon Crypto. Welcome into the show. Was lagging for me. Restarted the stream. All good now. I just had my birthday on the 30th of August. Happy birthday, David. Audio keeps cutting out. Please refresh. Okay, so this is just another YouTube problem. Refresh the show if any issues. With XRP moving into large adoption, is it not breaking away from the 90 drop? Yeah, I don't think XRP will have a 90% drop. I think Bitcoin might experience a 60, 70% drop, Ethereum 70, 80% drop, and then the same for XRP, 70, 80% drop. It's not about large institutional adoption. There can be large institutional adoption, but the market cap is still tiny on the grand scheme of things, and it's all basically sentiment. So this cycle I do still expect. I mean, XRP had a 50% drop last month. It's probably had a 50% drop. Has it had a 50% drop since the highs recently? No, probably not. No, it's had a 27% drop. But just a few months ago, from those all-time highs we created, it dropped 50%. It didn't require a lot more for it to drop another 10, 20, 30%. So XRP can drop 60, 70, 80. I would say it'll probably drop from $10 to $2. So that's an 80% drop. It might not be a 90% drop, but I don't think it'll be a 90% drop. Will this channel go into hibernation for a couple of years or so during the bear market, or we carry on? Videotape memories, we will carry on. We were here during the last bear market, we'll be here during the next bear market. Our views were very low. I mean, on my Sunday shows, I was getting 20 people watching, and that's when it mattered the most. That's why I will not go into hibernation during a bear market, because that's when it matters the most. That's when the people that are watching back then, they were looking at XRP and accumulating at 30 cents, 32 cents. We even started a crypto challenge, buying Bitcoin at 15,000. We bought Coinbase at $30. That was the time to make money. So certainly we won't be going into hibernation videotape memories. Even if the views drop 90%, it's the most important time to be making videos, and that's when we will continue to do it. And it was probably going to be much harder the last time around because there was many less subscribers. It'll be easier because we've got more of the family members that will stay with us during the bear market as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do is see if there's a show from Martyn and redirect you there. And then I'll end the show and I'll start. Oh, yes, there is. Martyn's already set up the show. There it is. Oh. Did I miss this? How long ago was... I apologise if I missed this. Anyway, the show from Martyn is there. So what I'm going to do is send you all to Martyn. He's ready to go live. It will be great to hear an update from his day 3 out of 5 of his financial finance and body detox. So that's where we're going to be going. I'm going to do a lot of preparation for all these IPOs that are coming up. September has more birthdays than any month. It's my birthday, yes. Oh, I do need to tell you all. I accidentally messed up something. So let me show you this. actually, it's not on there. If you want the link to the $1,000 giveaway, that's here. I need to share something else with you just before I go. For anyone who's interested, here it is. MartynLucasShop.com. I accidentally, there was two, the charity mug, so not the 10 out of 10, those are being shipped. So if there's two people that still need to contact me, it's Zach8 who needs to drop a code for me. I think it's Kimberly as well, and I'll send you a 10 out of 10s. That's not what I'm talking about though. It's the charity support mug. There was a special mug, 1 out of 5. It was set at a price, $50. This is not part of the 10 out of 10 collection. It does have a QR code, but that QR code takes you to the charity event. It is the number 1 and number 5 uploaded correctly, and 2 people bought that, and it sold out. However, the number 3, 4, and 5 accidentally were sold out on launch, so they didn't actually sell, but it said sold out. So number 3, 4, and 5, these are charity mugs. All the money goes directly to that charity event. It didn't actually go properly during the event. There was so much going on, so I'm just letting you know that they're back in stock. No one's got number 3, no one's got number 4, no one's got number 5. They're a limited collection. Obviously, they're 5. Anything you spend, whatever money that you give, I will directly donate it to the charity. So they are charity mugs. Go and check them out if you miss them. Just letting you know that is actually available. Okay. And anyone who won the charity mugs, we will be sorting that out today. I've given Zach a number he needs to give, and Kimberly. So let me know in the chat. Now we're going over to Martyn. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Live tomorrow at the same time. Great job, Sensei. Get it. Thank you. Yes, go and grab your merch. If you do want the newsletter, getting ready for those IPOs and direct line of communication, there it is. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Straight over to Martyn now. The link is right above. It will automatically take you there. See you tomorrow. Until next time, take care of yourselves and each other. Bye-bye.